speed.
Sound production.
Roll sound.
Rolling.
Sound production. Take 2.
Welcome to the I Remember Liking That Movie podcast. Remember those childhood movies you loved? Now, we're going to watch them again and find out if they're still as amazing as you remember. Or, your father was right. You were an idiot, and everything you watched was stupid. So buckle up, movie aficionados. Over-the-top gore? Check. Over-embellished action? Check. Gratuitous nudity? Double check. Storylines so absurd you could drive a semi-truck through those plot holes. Oh yeah, some of those movies didn't even know what a movie plot was. And that's the way we liked it. Now, here's your hosts, Anna Santos and Jimmy Coates.
How's it going?
Going okay. How you doing?
Doing okay. Welcome to the I Remember Liking That Movie podcast, live on YouTube. That's right. If you're listening to this, and that means you're either listening to it live or you're listening to the live version of it on YouTube. There is, within a few days, this is Wednesday, so the actual other version comes out on Sunday. And it is heavily edited down by like 20-30 minutes. So if you're watching this and going, when are they getting to the fucking movie? Yeah, you might want to check out the other one.
But please stay for all of the goodness that we give you.
Yeah.
We normally run off on tangents, or at least I do.
Yeah. And we're going to start by going over... Oh, I didn't even do. Oh, I did do it in order. Thank Christ. We're gonna go over the. Did you watch anything new this weekend? Like not our movies, but like anything at the theater or anything like that?
No. Although when talking to my therapist today, I was like, I started asking myself why I don't go to the movies more, because I love going to the movies by myself, and I always go to the VIP theater, and I get in one of the cushy seats and have someone bring me a beverage, an adult beverage. And I'm like, why am I not doing that more? So I started looking up times. So probably this weekend I'm going to go to the movies. But I was actually doing the Rookie rewatch because I missed all of last season and the new season is just about to start. So I was like, let me get caught up.
Yeah.
And so I'm ready. But I did start looking through like a lot of, I saw some new like horror movies that were up on Prime Video. So I was like, I might catch a few of those this weekend. We'll see how it's going. Did you see anything new and fun?
No, I sent my kids to the theater and they watched Wonka.
Oh.
Going to the theater with a bunch of kids isn't fun.
No, it's not. I've been in a theater with a bunch of kids and I don't like that. And for a while there, when my niece was like a preteen and a teenager, we went to go see the Marvel movies together because we're both Marvel fans. So, I mean,
right.
I like going to the movies with my niece because she acts like an adult.
Yeah. How old is she?
Now she's 20.
Yeah.
Now, but like I was taking her out when she was like 13, 14.
Oh, yeah.
Like, we're going to go to the movies, me and you.
And if I go with one, it's fine.
Yeah.
You go with 4 or 5, sucks balls.
Well, because then you have to wrangle them, and inevitably one of them is going to have to pee when nobody else has to pee, and they're just going to rotate through that. No.
Yeah. Well, let's take a look at the box office. The number one movie this weekend, Mean Girls.
The musical.
The musical. What do you think? Think it's any good?
I'm sure it's very good. I'm not that big of a Mean Girls fan in general.
Oh, you didn't like the original?
The original was fine. I liked it. I thought it was funny. I did not become obsessed with it like so many other people did. I think because we've all had a Regina George in our lives. And we're like, sometimes getting hit by a bus is just not enough. So, I mean, the original movie was good, but I also love a good musical. So
I'm sure my kids are I have all girls. They're going to watch the shit out of this thing.
100%. They're going to run around the house singing.
Number 2, The Beekeeper.
You think I want to watch this?
Yeah, I want to watch it too.
Yeah. Also because I think it's hilarious. that I think because Jason Statham actually plays a beekeeper in this.
Yeah.
Like an actual keeper of bees. And I'm like, I feel like that's something he would excel at.
Number 3, Wonka. I have mixed feelings about it. I obviously I'm gonna watch it.
Yeah.
I love the Gene Wilder one. Not a big I didn't mind the Johnny Depp one. He came across as creepy and weird.
So creepy and weird. So fucking creepy and weird.
Not someone I'd want to let my kids leave my kids alone with.
Oh, no. Fuck no. Not even a little. Gene Wilder? 100%.
Gene Wilder, yeah.
I'd leave my kids with him. Even if they turn into giant blueberries. No.
Yeah, no.
This
but one, I saw him. And I like Timothy Chalamet.
Yeah, Chalamet. You got it.
I think that's his real name.
It actually is.
Is it really?
Apparently his dad is French.
Oh, okay.
Like French. So he grew up actually speaking French. So he actually, in interviews and stuff, he's fluent in French. It's actually really nice to see.
I loved him in Dune. So
he's an incredible actor. And I keep thinking for some reason that he's like 15, but he's not. He's closer to 30.
Yeah, very young looking.
Hugh Grant plays an Oompa Loompa in.
I didn't agree with that. I saw 1, 2, 3, 4 interviews with different little people. Had to think of what I was about to say there. And they're all kind of pissy because they're like, we don't get a lot of roles, man. Like there's only so many roles for little people. And Wonka could have been huge for like tons of, you could make different looking Wonkas.
But I think for this movie, if I'm remembering correctly, like this Oompa Loompa is pint sized.
Oh, is
like
it?
Can stand on a desk.
Oh, I'm curious to see Hugh Grant as an Oompa Loompa.
Honestly, I saw one scene and I was like, that's magic. I love that.
This is by Illumination Studios, the Minions. I definitely will be watching this, especially with my youngest. And anything they do is, I'm sure it's funny. I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
I guess it's about migration.
There seem to be geese, ducks.
That might
mallards,
be a chickadee in the third one there, third back.
Is that maybe a chickadee?
Or some sort of smaller bird.
We're going to figure this out. I did see that ad.
This movie's doing it's doing really good. And for a rom-com that people haven't seen forever. Like rom-coms have not been in theaters for a long time.
Yeah. Apparently they lost some of their box office luster. But I mean, you have Sydney Sweeney, who was in Euphoria, and she's been doing a lot of like different movies and kind of getting out there. Glenn Powell, who I love from, oh God, what was that movie with Taraji P. Henson? I think it was Octavia Spencer. It's about the Black female mathematicians at NASA. With
Kevin Costner.
Yes, and Kirsten Dunst was in it, and I didn't recognize her in it until eventually I did. Why can't I remember?
Yeah, what was that one?
I know it has something to do with like mines. God damn it. Hidden Figures.
Hidden Figures, that's it.
Woof. That took me a while. But yeah, Hidden Figures, love that movie. And Glenn Powell plays an astronaut in it.
Oh, okay.
He plays like one of the big astronauts that we all recognize from the moon landing. And he's the one who's like, I want the actual person. Fuck the IBM. I want someone to tell me where I'm going to land, like a real person. So they have to call in Taraji P. Henson's character. And it was really good.
All right. We are going to review a couple newer movies that came out. One is brand new and one kind of snuck under the radar. Did you want to do yours first?
I would love to do mine first. Mainly because I have a lot more to say about the other one. So we're going to do mine first. So for me, it was Finestkind. Apparently it came out in 2023. God bless. Starring Ben Foster and Tommy Lee Jones. And Jenny Ortega's in it, or Jenna Ortega. I keep wanting to call her Jenny. And it's directed by Brian Helgeland. I think I said that right. He is a screenwriter, producer, director. He's got some really great credits. 42 Legend, A Knight's Tale. I didn't realize that he like produced and wrote that. And I was like, oh, sir. He also won the Oscar for Best Adapted Screenplay for LA Confidential. And I was like, I didn't realize he had worked on that script too. I was like, so much. He also wrote A Nightmare on Elm Street 4.
Oh.
Yeah. And he also directed an episode of Friday the 13th, the series, which I used to watch all the time.
Yeah, I used to watch that too. Whenever I could catch it. Yeah.
So good. So basically this movie is the story of a fisherman in Massachusetts who his ship ends up kind of exploding. But his little brother who didn't really grow up in, because his parents had divorced, mom remarried, had a brother who grew up on the rich side of town. And he did not. Little brother comes over after he's graduated from university, says he wants to work with his brother on the fishing boat. Brother says, cool. Boat explodes. This starts a series of events. The brothers and the entire crew survive. They come back. Shit starts hitting the fan. Tommy Lee Jones is the older brother's father. And he says, hey, take my boat out. Go fishing for 10 days. They go into Canadian water. Stupid. They get caught. Stupid. And then they end up getting fined. The dad's boat gets impounded. And then they have to scramble to find a way to pay the $100,000 fine and get the boat out of impounding because dad is dying. And they just want to give him his boat before he dies. And then drama ensues. And that's as far as I'm going to go. Just in case someone does want to watch this. It's a 2-hour-long movie. And you feel it. You feel it. Yeah. It's the performances are fine but confused. I feel like this was a very confusing movie. I didn't know what kind of movie it wanted to be. And at one point, like I think we got like an hour and 15 minutes into it. And I was like, a lot of nothing has happened. And then everything happens in quick succession. And it takes a lot of like unexpected turns. And you're like, this is not supported by the script, but okay. And it's a bit of a hot mess. And it makes me sad because it had the potential to be great. If it had chosen to be, a movie about brothers getting to know each other and bonding, if it had been, a movie about, a dying father going out with his son for one last fishing trip together, sure. If it was about the family dynamics, if it was about the drama of dealing with local drug dealers or the fishing industry and how limiting it is, sure. But it decided to put little bits of everything in there. And I'm like, you don't need half of this. Kind of pulls away. And I'm like, I don't know what story you're trying to tell me, which makes me sad because I'm like, you have some incredible actors here, like absolutely incredible. And you're not using them to their full potential. So it made me a little sad. Did you get to watch it?
I did get to watch it.
Tell me your thoughts.
All right. Second opinion. I kind of liked it. I had too many great actors not to like. The story, I agree, was a bit everywhere.
Yeah.
Like it's about family. It's about fishing. It's about political relations when dealing with fishing borders. It's about what you love. Is it a thriller involving gangsters? Yeah, it's all of that.
Accurate.
I wasn't bored. I dug the soundtrack, the look of the movie. I love the fishing part.
Yes.
The acting was great. Like Ben Foster is one of my favorites. Tommy Lee Jones is, well, he's Tommy Lee Jones. He's always amazing. Which is not a surprise. Jenna Ortega was good. The mom, Lolita
Davidovich.
Yeah. The guy from Wings, Tim Daly. The crew was like hold on, I have it. Ismael Cruz Cordova.
Yeah.
He's probably one of the coolest characters in the new Lord of the Rings show. He was awesome. Scotty Tovar, Aaron Stanford, even the guys that played the gangsters. Yes, this movie covers a lot, and I know critics have been hard on this movie, saying it's like a throwback to the 80s or 90s. It needs to be smarter. And I'm like, no, it doesn't. Sometimes I like watching a movie that is just okay to watch. Like, even if it takes a few wild and maybe questionable roads to get to its destination. The ending is cheesy.
Yeah.
Satisfying, but very cheesy on all different parts. I'm not calling it a movie of the year. But there is enough here visually and in storytelling and acting to warrant, I'd say, a watch. Like, stream it if you have Paramount Plus, and I'd say even rent it. It's not action. It's not an action-packed movie. It's not a horror-filled movie. It's not a laugh out loud. It's not a Saturday night movie that you're looking for. This is a relaxing on the couch Sunday afternoon watch for me.
Yeah. No, I can give it, like, it wasn't a bad movie. It just wasn't a great movie. Like, it was decent.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it could have been tightened up a little bit. It could have been, because there were a lot of times where I'm like, okay, I see where you're going. And then there would be a scene where I'm like, that doesn't make sense with anything that's just aired.
Yeah.
Okay.
They could have really tightened up the script. And
like, I see where they were going, but they took a really long time to get there.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't think you need all that extra stuff. But I mean, the actors are incredible. The performances, they're strong performances.
Yeah. Not everybody's best, but
yeah. I think they were just trying to put too much into it. But
it needed to be a tad longer.
Yeah. But make it a series. I would have watched a mini-series of this 100%. Would have watched a mini-series. Because I'm like, I like that they spent the time to kind of explain the world and the relationships between everybody. And, there was a nice little bit of like Portuguese thrown in there when I think it's Costa's wife ends up calling him a maldito. It's like a whole thing. And I'm like, oh God, that's very nice. Very good. Because that area, especially in the fishing community, filled with Portuguese people, God bless. We just go fishing everywhere we go. Yeah. But I mean, it was fine. I wasn't mad at it. I don't think I wasted 2 hours. But at the end of the 2 hours, I was like, that didn't need to be 2 hours.
Yeah.
That's it. So, I mean, if you've got a couple hours or you have like a task that you're working on, you've got to, do your taxes or whatever, throw this movie on. If you're going through receipts, it's a great something to put in the background and kind of pause and watch some really great performances. I would stream it, but not rent it. I don't think I'd pay for this.
There we go. One stream, one rent on a Sunday afternoon. All right. I watched Badland Hunters. So here is my take on that movie. Directed by Hae Myung-hong. I could have pronounced that right. I don't know. Sounded good.
Sounded very good.
This is a first-time director. This is his first movie. Huge stunt coordinator. Huge. So it's a first-time feature. I won't pretend like I know any other actor in here other than Mae Dong-seok, who I have seen in a few movies: The Outlaws, The Roundup. He was in the Marvel, The Eternals.
Yes.
Train to Busan. That's not to say the other actors aren't good. It's just he is the reason I watched it. Well, him and the crocodile on the poster in the trailer.
Well, yeah.
He's just fun. He's fun to watch in any movie he's in. Now, this isn't the best zombie post-apocalyptic action movie out there. It's not the best Korean post-apocalyptic zombie action movie. A lot of it is overacted, as I find a lot of Korean movies out there are, especially certain characters. If the script calls for a crazy gang leader or a crazy mad scientist, well, that is what you are going to get in spades. But I find that fun. So we're thrown into this quasi sequel of a movie from a movie called Concrete Utopia, where that movie is about a large earthquake that takes out all of Seoul except for one tiny apartment. This movie starts with the doctor conducting experiments just as the earthquake begins, and later that same apartment is revealed. You do not have to watch Concrete Utopia to follow this movie at all. Where Concrete Utopia begins right after that earthquake, Badland Hunters gets to the apartments 3 or 4 years later. This movie referenced that apartment quite a bit and actually takes place within it for like the second half of the movie. All that said, like I said, you don't have to watch the other movie. All you need to know is a doctor is recruiting teenage kids for experiments and bringing them to the apartment. One teenager is a friend of Mae Dong-seok's character, Nam-san, And when he finds out she's in trouble, he goes to get her and kicks the shit out of anyone who gets in his way. The dialogue, while lacking sometimes in English dub, and admittedly, it is better with closed caption, is so hard with a movie like this. Like when the action comes, I don't want to be reading and missing the main reason I'm watching this movie, the action and the gore. And this movie has that in spades when it does finally come. While the story is familiar, it's not the best example of that story, but when the action comes, it does deliver. I know shotguns don't really send people flying backwards 10 feet. I don't care. I want to see that sometimes in a movie. It's awesome to see. There are so many martial art moves that kick, punch, twist, and turn gunshots into like heads exploding and limbs flying. The gore is great. The zombie things with no real humanity left, that basement one, it's an awesome. Although there's a little too few of them, I wish there was a lot more. All the soldiers, save for maybe 2 of them, all suck as soldiers. They're just cannon fodder. The gangs aren't really good when it comes to being tough or having any real competency, but that's okay. That just means there's more of them to beat the crap out of and kill. If you are hoping for Train to Busan or All of Us Are Dead, 2 other Korean ones, you aren't getting any of that. You're not getting that deep here. And it doesn't have to be the zombie spectacle of, say, Peninsula. It does have a serviceable story. It has a kick-ass hero and a lot of killing, lots of killing. The fight with the zombies in the basement being the highlight. This is a popcorn flick for those who like high action, low thinking type of movies. And if you do not like Korean movies, you're not gonna like this one. It's overacted, but lots of realistic and icky gore. It has more than a few that's gotta hurt moments too. And a cool fight with a crocodile to start it all off, and that's in the trailer, so I'm not really spoiling anything. It's definitely worth a stream. Like, you know what you're getting, just don't expect anything more than that. That's like, it's not the greatest zombie post-apocalyptic Korean movie out there, but it's worth a watch. Yeah, I had fun watching it.
My second opinion, I also had a great time watching it. Like, there were quite a few times that, okay, yes, you're not going to find something deep and meaningful in this movie.
Yeah.
Other than don't kill children. That's the deepest they get, which is nice. It's nice that we can state that. But yeah, no, I was just expecting, a nice kind of campy, because, I mean, God bless Korean dramas, actions. They're very into dramatic stares, pauses.
Yeah.
Like delivery of lines. They really like to pack a punch with that. And I'm like, God bless.
Yeah.
And in this movie, it fits so well because obviously this is not one of the zombie movies or TV shows that's going to look into the human condition.
No.
And explore, humanity through. No, we're killing shit and we're having fun doing it while smelling bad. This is what that movie is. And it's a fun romp. There's a lot of really great fight scenes.
Yeah.
Like, incredible. The story does work. It's a simple one, but it delivers. They stay on point through the entire thing. I had a lot of fun watching this.
Yeah.
And I was like, I would totally watch this again. 100%. It's probably going to turn into one of my, while I'm working and I just need something in the background, this is going to be one of my background watches. Yeah. Because I can just like look over and be like, ooh, fight scene, right?
Yeah.
Let me watch that and then go back to work. So I mean, it was a fun one. I would totally watch this again, and I would totally recommend. If people like, you have to be okay with mild dramatic acting. just a little bit. But if you like really great fight scenes and you love having, a young female who figures shit out before every single adult in her entire world.
Yeah, she figured it out.
She figured it out. She's a smart
something's
one.
Not right here.
She's like, this is super weird. I don't think I'm gonna go along with what you're doing, which I also appreciated. But yeah, no, it was a really fun movie, and I think it's a great like popcorn watch, like you said. Like, this is definitely, order some pizza, sit on the couch, watch this movie. You got a few laughs, great fight scenes, and some really nice special effects, like physical ones
Yeah.
on the people. Like I was like, oh, that's gross.
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting.
There were some nice ones.
Yeah. So it was a good watch.
Yeah. No, I liked it. I've really been impressed with like a lot of Korean shows and the movies, and I hope Netflix keeps doing them because they're great. Like these ones are great. Like I like Squid Games. I liked like Train to Busan. I love The Kingdom. That's the Korean zombie one that takes place in the Middle Ages in Korea. And they're so good. And yeah, and he's awesome. He is an awesome actor. He's just fun to watch.
He was so great.
Yeah.
I was like, why have I not seen more of you? I want to see more of you, sir.
All right. So before we go and start Joe versus the Volcano, I came across some old books. Yeah, like where some Hollywood movies get their ideas from old books. So I got a few of them, and I thought we could go through them and take a look at them, just because it's kind of cool to see where these horror movies got their ideas from. Trigger warning or whatever. A couple of them are a little gross. They're based on horror movies. So, all right, ready? Here's the first one. Yeah, if you were wondering where Army of Darkness came from. Beetlejuice.
Amazing.
The Exorcist.
Take that, Prince Charming.
Scanners.
Oh, God. Oh, that's traumatizing.
It gets worse. I'll save the two worst ones for last.
Oh, thank you.
There
my God. So cute. Jiminy Cricket, you look a little different.
Reanimator and Company. Cujo.
So
Alien.
Cute.
Little Shop of Horrors.
That's adorable, and I kind of want it.
And this is horrible. Cannibal Holocaust.
Oh my God, why would you do that? Why?
I didn't do it. And
I blame you.
Probably the worst one of all, the Human Centipede. Oh, the Human Centipede's got Tigger, Eeyore, and Piglet.
What?
Oh, that's gross.
Oh
Whew.
that's terrible. Tigger does not look happy.
No, wow. What about Eeyore? Poor Eeyore's in the middle there. I've never seen that movie. Not one, not two, not number three. They just look gross. Like horror is fine. I'm up for horror.
Yeah.
Gross.
No.
So I want to watch it, but I don't want to watch it.
I am good. I have never seen it.
No.
Nor have I ever wanted to.
I've been curious a couple of times, but then I'm like, I'm good.
Yeah,
I get the gist, and I can only imagine.
Sometimes I just I think about it because I'm like, I wonder. But then I really have a moment where I'm like, why?
Yeah.
Why would I want to?
Yeah. Why do I want to be grossed out for an hour and a half?
Yeah.
Like,
Sometimes
really,
you can
really
say
grossed out.
And
if people like it, hey, all the power to you. I just can't bring myself to watch it.
Yeah,
I'd watch that one. But some of them are like super cute. Like you got Cujo.
That one's adorable.
You got the Little Shop of Horrors.
See, I would frame that shit and put it on the wall.
Yeah, it would be kind of cute to have, or do one big one with all the little ones put in.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so we are going to show the preview of us trying to remember everything we can about Joe versus the Volcano, and then when we come back, we are going to review Joe versus the Volcano. Okay, welcome to the I Remember Like That Movie podcast. Today we are going back to we've been here, the 90s. Been here a lot this season.
We have
Money
the 90s.
Train, Gremlins 2.
Yeah.
What else have we done this season?
I know there was something else.
Yeah, no.
Wait, Out Cold, or was that 2000s?
That's 2000s, yeah. Van Helsing, that's 2000s too.
Yeah.
Okay, so 90s and the 2000s.
It feels very 90s. Does that help?
Yeah. So we have Joe versus the Volcano, Tom Hanks, and I think this was the first Tom Hanks, Meg Ryan movie that they starred in together.
I think it was, yes.
Yeah. And obviously there was some chemistry there because they did a couple more, didn't they?
Yeah.
You've Got Mail.
Sleepless in Seattle.
At least those two.
Did another one.
You've Got Mail, Sleepless in Seattle. They might have done another one. I don't know. It is directed by John Patrick Shanley. And if you don't know that name, he wrote Moonstruck.
A classic.
Which was did very well, which afforded him to do this movie. He wrote it and directed it. You also got Lloyd Bridges in here. Meg Ryan, I believe, plays more than one part.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you have Steven Spielberg producing or doing something. So what do you remember about Joe versus the Volcano? Because I have kind of a split memory.
I remember it being a very fun action comedy. So I remember laughing through it, and I remember thinking it was a little bit ridiculous. I remember liking it. Now I don't know if it aged well, because I also remember it being just a little bit ridiculous. Like it was a very fun, lighthearted movie, you know? Like there was nothing deep about it.
Yeah.
That's what I remember from it.
I remember seeing it around this time, probably maybe not right at 19, but around that time. And I didn't like it. I liked near the end when they got to the island. That I remember. And then I saw it again and I appreciated the beginning a bit better. So, yeah.
See, I think I watched it probably about 5 or 6 years after it came out. Because it was on TV. So I was like, yeah, sure. I'll watch it. And then I did. And I was like, oh, this is not bad. I don't remember loving it, but I remember liking it.
Yeah. And I haven't seen it since the 90s.
Same.
Yeah.
Same.
So it's been a while.
It's been a very, very long time since I watched. I could not tell you any of the story points. I think there's something about somebody being thrown in a volcano. I think. And that's all I've got.
Yeah.
That's it.
All right. Well, let's go to the box office. With a budget of $25 million, it opened in 1,802 theaters at number 2 behind Hunt for Red October, but ahead of House Party.
Now that's
I remember both of those movies.
Me too.
Yeah. I remember loving House Party.
House Party was awesome. I don't care what anybody says.
I remember a lot of the hijinks, but I remember even back then, the funniest be the old dude across the being mad that they have a house party. He's all pissed because they're keeping him up. The guy was awesome.
You are that guy now.
Yeah, I am that guy now. Joe versus Volcano it had a weekend of 9.2 million and it closed at 39.4. And it opened on March 9th, 1990. So it did not do what they were hoping, obviously, but it didn't do horrible. I wouldn't call it a bomb.
No, I wouldn't call it a bomb either with those numbers, but we also have to factor in, because this is 1990, the amount of video rentals.
Oh, yeah.
That happened, and also like video purchases. This would have gotten, especially as other Meg Ryan, Tom Hanks movies came out, I'm sure a lot of girls were doing marathons of all the rom-coms.
Yeah. All right, let's go to the tail of the tape. Let's cough first. Mute. There we go.
It's nice.
Joe versus Volcano, released 1990. It is a romantic comedy. It's a rom-com, obviously. Rated PG and comes in at 1 hour and 42.
Interesting.
Yeah. Taglines. An Average Joe, an adventurous comedy.
Not terrible, but not good either.
Yeah, not great. A story of love, lava, and burning desire.
Okay, kind of cute.
That's it.
Eh,
That's all you get.
that's all you need.
Synopsis. Joe Banks, Tom Hanks, is dying, apparently. This is good news since his life was not much worth living anyway. On the upside, a strange millionaire, Lloyd Bridges, offers Joe a way to die with meaning and dignity by hurling himself into a volcano. With plenty of spending cash and an ensemble of new luggage, Joe embarks on an absurdist journey to his demise, guided by two very disparate
Yeah, disparate.
sisters. Jeez, I'm having trouble with sisters here. Fuck. And trying to puzzle out the meaning of existence. Yeah, I think because Meg Ryan plays both sisters.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Because I don't remember a second sister, only Meg Ryan.
It sounds funny.
It does. And I mean, I'm sure now that we're older, we'll probably find a lot more jokes funny than we did when we were in our teens.
Yeah, and that's what I'm kind of hoping. Like,
me too.
And there is our movie poster. For those that are listening, up top it says Tom Hanks, Meg Ryan, a big full moon with Meg Ryan and Tom Hanks on a floating in the ocean on a piece of luggage, I'm guessing. And
yes,
in the background is a volcano kind of exploding and smoking. It's an all right poster.
Yeah, no, it's fine.
Yeah,
they've got all the elements in there. His luggage ensemble, the volcano, Meg Ryan and Tom Hanks. That's all you need to know.
All right. Now we go to Rotten Tomatoes. This is where we always get blindsided. But with 39 critic reviews, it comes in at 67%. And with 50,000 audience reviews, comes in at 54%. So critics like this a lot more than audience.
Mm-hmm.
Critics' consensus is Joe versus the Volcano erupts with plenty of screwball energy and thoughtful observations about living to the fullest, but its existential ambition may prove too goofy for some audiences.
Interesting.
So we'll start with the positive, and you may go first.
Thank you. Joe versus the Volcano stands on its own. Fantastical oddities are kept grounded by the inimitable duo of Hanks and Ryan. The film proudly wears its heart on its sleeve, proclaiming that the world is beautiful. It's a terrible shame when that is forgotten. Tina Kakadelis, Beyond the Cinerama Dome. Jeez.
Yeah,
I can't read tonight.
That makes me feel good that you're having trouble with some words.
I was like, I say it right in my head, but when I'm trying to speak it out loud, I'm like, I can't do that.
Come on, 9 times out of 10, it's me. Playwright John Patrick Shanley made his movie directing debut with this defiantly strange, totally underappreciated, yet completely wonderful romantic comedy. Jeffrey M. Anderson, Combustible Celluloid, original score 4 out of 4.
Damn, Jeffrey, you really like this movie. Joe versus the Volcano achieves a kind of magnificent goofiness. Hanks and Ryan are the right actors to inhabit it because you can never catch them going for a gag that isn't there. They inhabit the logic of this bizarre world and play by its rules. Roger Ebert, Chicago Sun-Times, original score 3.5 out of 4.
Wow, pretty high for
really
Roger Ebert.
good.
I'll go first, and then
okay.
This is Rotten Tomatoes. This is the audience. Not for everyone, but a great, funny movie if you have the right sense of humor. The first in a trio of movies starring Tom Hanks and Meg Ryan. Greatly underappreciated. Thomas B. 4 stars.
Undeniably original, unforgettably charismatic, unassumingly funny, unrelentingly ambitious, unbelievably cinematic, unexpectedly romantic, unfortunately dismissed. Brad F. 5 stars. That's a lot of uns, Brad.
Yeah. Perhaps one of the most misunderstood films ever made, but either you appreciate its very earnest weirdness or you don't. Personally, I failed to understand how vitriol could be extended to something so unique and lovably goofy as this. Alec B, 4.5 stars.
Wow, Alec.
All right, let's go to Rotten. You may start again.
After it's over, one thing is perfectly clear. Joe versus the Volcano, for all its wacky gags, delightfully bizarre look, and ill-fated attempts at insight, is only one thing: mediocre. Juan Carlos Cotto, Miami Herald, original score, 2 out of 4. Thanks, Juan.
Somehow I can't hate this. Then again, I can't really like it either. Alexander, Juicy Cerebellum,
Cerebellum. Yep.
original score, 2 out of 5.
Fantastic. A silly fable about love as the end product of seizing the moment and getting out of your comfort zone. It's a scenario as superficial as Shanley's Moonstruck was substantial. Nicholas Bell, ioncinema.com, original score, 2.5 out of 5.
Ouch.
That's harsh a little.
It's going right for the director.
Yeah.
Now this is again Rotten Tomato audience. This comedy was all right. Tom Hanks, Meg Ryan, Lloyd Bridges, Meg Ryan, and the rest of the cast did a decent job in this movie. The plot of the movie was strange and tedious. It wasn't as great as I thought it would be. This was probably one of Tom Hanks' worst movies ever. If you haven't seen it yet, don't waste your time. You won't like it at all. No, it's kind of all over. It's like the ending of my review of a movie. This movie sucked, but it's okay. You might want to watch. Fuck it, stream it. 2 stars.
That's why that sounded so familiar. Strange movie that went from vaguely interesting to a badly done Mel Brooks farce. 1 to miss. Funk Eye, 2 stars.
See, they're all shitting at the end of the movie, and I just said that. That's the part I remember liking.
Mind you, you would have been like, what, 10, 11?
Yeah.
About that time that you watched it, so...
Yeah, with my underwear on the outside of my pants and a purple Crayola shoved up the right side of my nostril. This movie's funny. Saw this in the theater and loved it. Watched it again yesterday, and apparently my 40-year-old self has different taste than my 11-year-old self. Danielle R., 2 stars.
Thanks, Danielle. Thanks for the warning.
IMDb. And it has 40,000 user ratings, which is kind of high for like an older movie like this.
It is.
And it has a 5.9 out of 10.
That's not bad.
No. And you may go first with...
How could anyone not like this movie? It is classic. 10 out of 10, Terry Lynn Martin.
Quirky is not a dirty word. 9 out of 10, Moon Spinner 55.
It is if you use it right. Quirky comedy, great for those who get it. 8 out of 10, SS 724.
This movie is delightful. 7 out of 10, Fop, Fop, Fop.
Sorry, that username. A fable that grows on you. Watch it again. 6 out of 10, T-Babe 29.
On a scale of 1 to Casablanca, this film is a Superman Returns from 2006. Happy-go-lucky duck.
Oh, yeah, that's funny. I was kind of rooting for the Volcano. Movie Man Kev. These are both 5 out of 10.
Both 5 out of 10s. An Average Joe versus the Screenplay. 4 out of 10, Simon QBB.
Yeah, Simon QBB. Horrible. 3 out of 10, Izzy Pito.
Stupidest, weirdest movie. 2 out of 10. I'm not even gonna F and T. Yeah.
Yeah. Without doubt, the stupidest movie ever made. 1 out of 10. Celltape 330-797-168. I think that might be that guy's phone number.
All right. Let's remove you. All right. So we checked out the box office. We did the tale of the tape, and we looked at the reviews. So now we will check out the trailer, and then we'll make our predictions.
Sounds good.
Oops. God damn it. Trying to do something new here. Again. Bites me in the ass. Can you hear anything?
Yep.
Once on a time, in the middle of a deep, dark factory, an average Joe
Banks.
lived a very boring life.
Good morning, Dee Dee.
Hi, Joe. What's with the shoe?
Losing my soul.
Yeah.
Until one day, he found out
Yeah, I've
his
been there.
life was over.
I'm not sick except for this terminal disease.
That's right.
You have some time left, Mr. Banks. Live it well. And that's
Joe Banks,
when his adventure began.
you and I might be able to help each other. I want to hire you to jump into a volcano. Total red carpet situation. It's wine, women, and song in the sweetest little paradise you ever saw. A real journey. Are you Joe Banks?
Yeah.
Warner Brothers presents Tom Hanks, Meg Ryan,
Joe Banks.
in the story of a man, a mountain, and a miracle.
Take me to the volcano!
He's diving. He's jumping. He's leaping.
Written and directed by John Patrick Shanley, the Academy Award-winning writer of Moonstruck.
I love you.
I love you too. I've never been in love with anybody before either. It's great. I am glad. But the timing stinks. I gotta go.
Joe versus the volcano.
All right. There is our trailer for Joe versus Volcano. So, what is your prediction?
I think this might be a painful watch.
Now, why do you
I
say
want
that?
to like it. I want to like it. It does seem to have some quirky comedy bits in there, and it looks a little weird, and I enjoy weird, but that was not the greatest trailer.
No.
It doesn't inspire hope in me. So I'm like, is that one of those trailers where they show you like the best bits? Or is it the one where they don't show you any of the best bits, so you'll be surprised when you see it?
Well, it is a long time ago. It's like that actually could be very possible. It's not like I don't know when they started to do that, where they showed you all the good stuff in the
Yeah.
in
Well,
the
I think it's
trailer.
when, they're like, so there are approximately 10 scenes that are really good in this movie.
Yeah, put them on.
So let's show them all of those and trick them into buying a ticket. But we'll see. I mean, I have hope a little bit because I remember liking it when I was younger. But then I also have to think to myself, there's a reason why I haven't seen it in almost 30 years. So I'm torn. From the trailer, I don't think I'm going to like this.
Yeah. Yeah, I was hoping going through it, I was going to have a better appreciation from when I was younger,
Yeah.
that I could relate to it a bit more. It doesn't. Because I'm kind of the same. Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't look good.
I like that. Doesn't look good. I don't know.
No.
That's all I can say.
No. All right. Well, we are going to go watch Joe versus Volcano, starring Tom Hanks and Meg Ryan. And when we come back, we'll let you know.
Words are
Oh.
hard.
Yeah.
Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
Delicious things to eat.
The popcorn can't be beat. The sparkling drinks are just dandy. The chocolate bars and the candy. So let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
And now, on with the show.
Yay!
Hello.
Welcome back, everyone. I hope everyone was able to catch Joe versus the Volcano. Did you watch Joe versus the Volcano?
Yes, I did.
Me too. I actually bought Joe versus the Volcano. Did you buy it too?
So did I, because it was just as expensive as renting it. So I was like, I might as well buy it.
Might as well.
Same price.
Yeah. So your initial thoughts?
There's a reason why I haven't watched this in 30 years. And oh boy, did this movie show me why I haven't watched it in 30 years.
Okay. Actually, this is great because I actually kind of liked it.
I can't wait to hear it.
My initial thoughts after going through everything that we did before, I went in thinking it's a fairy tale.
Mm.
It would have a silliness to it, and I was hoping that I'd be able to appreciate it even more than my 20-year-old self or my even younger self when he first watched it. Because as a kid watching it, I thought it was okay and funny when they got to the island. As 20, I appreciate it a little more. Being a little older and watching it, having a better idea of what I was in for, I did appreciate it a lot more. It is not my favorite movie. It's not my favorite Tom Hanks movie by any means. But I did end up liking it.
That's good. I didn't mind it. It wasn't.
Well, I like it better when you hate it or I hate it and you like it.
I know, but here's what I mean by I don't mind it. Like, it wasn't torturous to watch. I did not roll my eyes. I did not lose my mind, but I also did not laugh. Like, there were a couple parts where I kind of half smiled and giggled a little bit. But I mean, other than that, it was like, I mean, this is so hard. It has the quirky, it has the weird.
Yeah.
Meg Ryan and Tom Hanks have incredible chemistry.
Yeah.
I see what they were trying to achieve because, some of the characters were fantastic. Dan Hedaya, who plays Mr. Waturi.
Yeah, he was awesome.
He's classic in everything. I don't care what he's doing. He's awesome no matter what. So, I see what they were doing, but I'm like, it just didn't have the magic. It didn't have, and I mean, it's not like I super hated this movie, but I didn't like it. It was that's it.
All right. Well, let's go through this movie, and I'm reading it, so I can't see you while I'm reading it.
It's okay.
I think I like this movie a lot more than you did. So if I'm saying something and you want a rebuttal, and I don't see the rebuttal in your face, by all means, or excuse me.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
Let's go.
All right. Joe Banks is a downtrodden everyman from Staten Island, working a clerical job in a dreary factory for an unpleasant, demanding boss, Frank Waturi. Joyless, listless, and chronically sick, Banks regularly visits doctors who can find nothing wrong with him. Okay, being much older and having dabbled in some office jobs, I did appreciate this scene a lot more. This opening, the getting out of the car, that drudge to go into the building. And you're right. There is a lot. It is very quirky. It's very odd and very fairy tale type that even the
turnstile.
Getting into it. Then the walkway is all this weird. Yeah.
There was a really greatly staged opening scene.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, I see where you're going with this. I see it. I understand it. I appreciate it. But I know this is terrible. It's almost like Tom Hanks couldn't be cranky enough. Do you know, or resigned enough?
Yeah.
It just wasn't hitting it for me, but I was like, everybody else looks absolutely miserable. So I believe you.
Yeah. And everything was over exaggerated. But anyone who works in an office or has worked in an office, a cubicle, a call center, there are days when you felt like these people dragging their asses into work, like the agony of dragging yourself to a job that was going to be the same thing over and over. And you look up in the heavens like, why, God? Why? But I do that with my kids too. So
nice.
Yeah, I know there's people out there who love their job and they're just so upbeat all the time. I just want to say everyone hates you.
I aspire to be that person.
Really?
In my mind, I'm like, I wonder what it's like to want to be at work, to be happy to go there. I would love to have that feeling, but I realized maybe 20 years ago that I was meant to be retired. I was not meant to work.
30.
No, not even. I was supposed to be independently wealthy. I was supposed to have a trust fund. Like that's what I was born. I should have been born into, not a working class family, because this is bullshit.
Working class families suck.
Fuck.
Yeah, the walkway, like, but you're right, Dan Hedaya.
I think it's Hedaya,
and that fucking phone conversation. Jesus Christ.
We have
I'm not
all
saying
overheard.
that. I'm not saying that. I'm not arguing.
I like I'm not saying he can't get the job. I'm saying, can he do the job?
Yeah.
I'm not saying he can't get the job.
But it was
and
just
I was like,
over and over. And it got to the point where like it was, they did it so much on purpose, obviously, that it was ridiculous.
Oh yeah.
And I will say, seeing this, Meg Ryan is very talented.
Oh yeah, she is.
And
she's
hot.
Very talented. Yes.
But being the first Meg Ryan movie I've seen in a while, I forgot how naturally likable and talented she was or is.
Yeah, she has incredible. She
has a redhead and a blonde
and a brunette.
That's all right.
No, not your thing. Yeah, no, she always had really great screen presence.
Yeah,
like the camera loves her, and her and Tom Hanks have such incredible chemistry. Like even when they're not saying anything to each other, you can feel it.
Yeah,
like,
there was a reason.
Yeah,
some producers or casting agents were like, "Yeah, we need to get these guys in a movie again."
They're fantastic together.
Yeah. Finally, Dr. Ellison diagnoses an incurable disease called a brain cloud, which has no symptoms, but will kill him within 5 or 6 months. Ellison says that the symptoms he has been experiencing are actually psychosomatic, caused by trauma in his previous job as a firefighter. Ellison advises him to live a few remaining months of his life well. The doctor, played by Mr. Unsolved Mysteries himself. What a voice.
He's amazing.
I wish I had that voice. I would have got laid a lot more. Well, I wouldn't.
Just down to the voice.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't have got laid any less. Yeah. Joe tells his boss off, quits his job, and asks former coworker Dee Dee, the first Meg Ryan character, out on a date. Yeah, I hope like anyone who gets a terminal diagnosis would quit their job in at least this manner or something adjacent or more. I mean, if you hate your job, I've had jobs I liked, but I've had ones that sucked. I've had jobs where if it was me, I'd be dancing around with a gasoline container, painting the walls with gas and flicking a match as I skip down the walkway.
I'm trying to think of every time I've ever quit a job. And it's not necessarily that I was happy to quit, but it was just kind of like, okay, well, I'm leaving now. Bye. You're just not serving my purpose anymore. Although I do remember the last time I quit a job, which was when I worked at David's Tea. I got it as like a second job for some reason. I don't know why. I think I wanted the discount on tea and mugs. I ended up quitting because they hired a new guy. And when they promoted him to like key holder, which was the same position I held, they were paying him more. And I had been there for like 3 years longer than him. So I got pissed and I was like, look, talk to HR, get me a pay raise now. They couldn't do it. So I was like, cool. Boxing Day is my last day. Bye. Because it happened literally right before Christmas. They were like, we'll up you in the new year. I'm like, no. Fuck you. I don't even need this job. I'm here for the discount. I'm leaving. Then like 3 years later, the pandemic hit and all the stores closed. So it's fine.
Yeah. Their date is a success, but when Joe tells Dee Dee that he is dying, she tells him she cannot deal with the revelation and leaves. He should have waited until after they banged. I'd wait until around the engagement party. Or just before the pregnancy test results.
That's a dick move.
By the way, I'm dying.
That's such a dick move.
Jimmy,
go away from the pregnancy. Oh God.
The next day, a wealthy industrialist named Samuel Graynamore makes Joe an unexpected proposition. And this was played by Lloyd Bridges in the only scene he was in. But this was
Yes.
one of those incidents like remember Harry Dean Stanton in Red Dawn?
Mm-hmm.
Not as powerful. I'm not saying that, but that one scene where you remember that character being able to deliver a scene, and Lloyd Bridges was great as this character.
Mm-hmm. Also, just a heads up, you're coming in a little hot in your mic.
That better?
Yes.
All right. Okay, so Graynamore needs Bubaru, a mineral essential for manufacturing superconductors. There are deposits of it on a tiny Pacific island of Waponi Wu, but the Jesus fuck. The resident Wapanis will only let him mine it if he solves a problem for them. They believe that the fire god of the volcano on their island must be appeased by a voluntary human sacrifice once every century.
Mm-hmm.
But none of them are willing to volunteer this time around. Graynamore offers to pay for whatever Joe wants to enjoy his final days as long as he jumps into the volcano within 20 days with nothing to lose. Joe accepts. This whole scene is silly with made up words and goofy native lore and all this stuff. But again, this is where it helps knowing that this is a fairy tale movie. It's supposed to be ridiculous and silly. Like it is silly for a reason. And we're at like the 35-minute mark.
Yeah.
Like we were at 20 minutes in before he quit his job. So up until this, what's your thoughts on it? Before Joe takes the deal, are you like bored?
I'm not bored, but I'm not wowed either. Like I was watching it and I was like, serviceable. It's fine. It works. Lloyd Bridges shows up. I'm like, you're a little wackadoodle. God bless. Watch the scene and I was like, this all sounds ridiculous. Robert Stack as the doctor. Fantastic. So I was like, okay, because I always look at the first like 30 minutes of a movie, especially if it's an hour and a half long. I'm like, this is your time to set up the story. And they did that. They set up the story. They showed just how miserable he was at his job, just how miserable his actual job was. Like you felt it in your soul, how shitty that job was. Like you could feel it. And then they showed him, having this revelation and getting the offer that sets him on the track for the rest of the movie. So I was like, it was very well paced. And I was like, okay, we're moving. We're great. Like I wasn't wowed by the movie, but I was like, there's still time. There's still time for it to get better.
Yeah. Joe spends a day and night out of the town in New York where he solicits advice on everything from style to living life to the fullest from his chauffeur, Marshall. I like this part. I thought Marshall was cool.
Marshall was cool.
Yeah. Was it me or was Marshall driving the limo on the park walkway?
It's very possible.
Because it was only like, it looked like an actual walking lane, not an actual road. For those who don't remember, Joe doesn't know where to go shopping, so Marshall, the limo driver, stops the car and hops in the back to get a read on a situation where he's going to help him pick out a place to shop. But it looks like he's just parked in the middle of the park. He gets his hair done, suits, tuxedos, African safari or Australian safari gear. I didn't get that part, but he also purchases 4 top-of-the-line waterproof steamer trunks from a fanatically dedicated luggage salesman.
And I gotta say, that man did his job.
Yes. Yeah.
That's some very high-end luggage, and he was very excited about it. When he heard where Joe was going, he's like, I got it. Got the perfect thing for you. And it was impressive.
Yeah. Joe then flies to Los Angeles where he is met by one of Graynamore's daughters, Angelica, a flighty socialite. This is hot redhead Meg Ryan.
Yes.
And just looking ahead here, Wikipedia jumps to Angelica dropping him off. And I did make a note. Joe's interaction with Angelica is only around 10 minutes long. It seemed a little longer. I think his interaction with Marshall was longer, but his interaction with Angelica felt longer. But not looking at my watch longer. And I don't know if I'm reading the film right, but like a fairy tale, each little interaction with Joe feels like a chapter in a book, or more like a mini adventure, like each
Yeah.
having a very definitive ending to Joe's adventure with his job, Mr. Granamore offering him the thing,
Mhm.
Marshall taking him out, Angelica, and it seemed like they're just little tiny adventures, Joe adventures, with a beginning, a middle, and an end to each one. Where there's Angelica becomes a little better of a person. Mr. Marshall didn't want anything to do with them at the beginning, but wanted it to hang out with them later on, but he wasn't going to be coming back. So yeah, that's kind of felt that way to me. What is she? Okay, so back to redhead Meg Ryan. She picks him up, takes him to lunch, tells him she's a poet and an artist, as most kids living off their rich parents are. Or that could be a stereotype. I don't have rich parents. I don't know.
Neither do I. And I was always told, when I told my mom I wanted to be an actress, she looked me dead in the eyes and said, "That's for rich people. We're not rich." And I was like, "Oh, okay, cool. Thanks."
Shows him one of his paintings, and they go to the lookout where the painting was done, and tells Joe one of her poems. That was kind of funny.
Yes.
And I didn't forget how talented Meg Ryan. I just haven't seen a movie within her in it like for quite some time, old or new. But yeah, then all of a sudden, I'm like Armed and Dangerous with Eugene Levy and John Candy, DOA with Dennis Quaid, Inner Space with Martin Short, and all these movies started. Like, yeah, she's made some really cool movies.
She's been working very steadily for most of her life.
Yeah. Yeah. And she's not like the female sidekick or there just because there's a female in the script. She's more than helping carry the movie that she's in.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah. When he starts talking about her feelings, she shuts down. As soon as it gets serious, she takes him back to the hotel and offers to go upstairs with Joe. Joe, being the bigger man than me, is like, no. I'd be like, hell yeah, you freaky wackadoo. I heard about you crazy chicks in bed.
Jesus. So wrong, dude.
The next morning, Angelica takes Joe to her father's yacht, the Tweedledee. The captain is her half-sister, Patricia. Patricia has reluctantly agreed to take Joe to Wapani Woo. Granamore has promised to give her the yacht in return. Okay, and Joe obviously touched Angelica, not in a creepy uncle who wants to wrestle every time he visits type way, but she kind of like feels better about herself, and you could tell that they kind of bonded. And
yes, they had a little bonding moment. They started out very antagonistic, and then had a moment.
So is the movie losing you now, or like with because now we've done Marshall and we've done Angelica.
The movie lost me a while ago.
Oh, did it? Okay.
Actually, let me rephrase. The movie never got me.
Never even. Yeah. Okay.
I was waiting to get gotten, and I didn't. I did not care about Joe. I did not care about the many incarnations of Meg Ryan. The highlight for me was Lloyd Bridges as the crazy, because he had crazy eyes.
Oh yeah.
Like the crazy ass millionaire. And I was like, yes, sir. You're carrying crazy. I feel you.
He's great in those airplane movies.
He's so good. The driver was awesome.
Yep.
Malcolm. I liked him because there's a lot of, no, I'm not gonna have dinner with you. I gotta go home to a wife and kids. Like, what are you, crazy? I like that moment.
Weirdo.
But for the most part, I was like, there was nothing that really sucked me in. There was nothing that made me go, oh my God, this is a pile of flaming shit. But there was nothing that made me go, oh, I'm interested in this. So that's where we're at.
All right. After an awkward beginning, Joe and Patricia begin to bond. Then they run into a typhoon. Okay, they missed a bit here. This is the longest segment or interaction. They have their bonding moment when he is in bed and she asks if he slept with her sister. He says no. Yeah, if you're okay. Trying to remember what they actually did here.
Well, she said something about like, oh, that tells me a lot about you.
Yeah.
Who didn't sleep with her, because she mentions that she's a lot like her sister in that. Oh God, I can't remember what she said.
Yeah, and yeah, you're right about the chemistry thing, because when they're acting together, whether the movie is great, good, bad, whatever, you can't deny, like, and it's
You can't.
their chemistry, and it's really organic.
So it's so natural.
Yeah.
It oozes out of them. Like, they don't actually have to be saying anything or really interacting. Like, just looking at each other, you're like, I feel this.
Yeah. Then they have the dinner with just them sitting and talking. The fishing I thought was pretty funny. And if you can't remember, Patricia's catching everything. She just drops her line into the water and a new fish comes up. Joe is awfully getting miffed at this, but he finally gets one. It's a whole gag. And when he pulls up the hammerhead shark and he just starts screaming. The drinks under the stars, when they're just sitting on the boat with the lantern lights. I'll be honest, this had me going, I need to buy a boat. Because it looked delightful.
I'm totally cool with both.
Yeah. Then the typhoon came, and I'm like, maybe I don't need a boat. Amanda Plummer is in this. She works on the boat. She didn't have a huge role,
no, but I did like her character.
Yeah, and she could have done a lot more. And maybe, unfortunately, it ended up on the cutting room floor. Yeah. Patricia is knocked unconscious and flung overboard. After Joe jumps in to rescue her, lightning strikes, sinking the yacht. Joe is able to construct a raft by lashing together his streamer trunks. Patricia does not regain consciousness for several days. Joe doles out small supply of fresh water to her, while he gradually becomes delirious from thirst. Then he experiences a revelation during his delirium and thanks God for his life. And I would argue this is just an adventure onto itself, just him alone in the middle of the ocean. When Patricia finally awakens, she is deeply touched by Joe's self-sacrifice. They then find that they have luckily drifted to their destination. And for a movie at first watch that I only liked when they got to the island, we're an hour and 20 minutes in. Like, there's only 20 minutes on this island. The Waponi treat them to a grand feast. Their leader, Chief Toby, asks one last time if anyone else will volunteer, but there are no takers, and Joe heads to the volcano. Patricia tries to stop him, declaring her love for him. He admits he loves her as well, but the timing stinks. Patricia persuades Joe to have the chief marry them. Okay, so I'll go back just a bit. I get why a lot of reviewers and people like the movie up until this point. I still like this part. I like Joe practically being tortured while being bathed.
I mean, that part I'm fine with.
And Patricia is like being delicately washed and fed and scents given to her. And the island dudes are sucking on Joe's feet and he's yelling at them to stop and putting octopuses on his face and laughing at him. Smushing fruit and licking it. I like how the backstory is a Roman ship full of all these different races landing on the island, given the different.
I like that.
Because there's black people, white people, Asian people.
They had everybody on that island, and I was like, this is beautiful.
I love Nathan Lane.
Nathan Lane is awesome at all times.
And I even loved Abe Vigoda as the chief. It was so stupid. Yeah, but I thought the silliness of it played into the whole the orange soda cans.
Oh, jeez.
For those listening or watching, the lore was an ancient Roman ship got lost with all these different people from different religions, blah, blah, blah. But they have an extreme love for orange soda. So much that the Waponi won't sacrifice themselves because they love this soda so much that they don't want to die. And they don't throw away the cans. They use them for everything, like necklaces, hair fashion.
Pieces. Yeah.
Like,
your accessories. Those cans are everywhere.
Everywhere. Yeah, it's fucking ridiculous. Afterwards, Patricia refuses to be separated from her new husband. When Joe is unable to dissuade her, they jump in together. But the volcano erupts at that moment, blowing them out into the ocean. The island sinks, but Joe and Patricia land near Joe's trusty streamer trunks. At first ecstatic about their miracle salvation, Joe tells Patricia about his fatal brain cloud. She recognizes the name of Joe's doctor as that of her father's crony and realizes that Joe has been set up. He is not dying and they can live happily ever after. And that is our movie.
Yes. Yes, it is. That is our movie.
What is your score?
Stream it only if it's for free. Stream it for free. If it's there and you want to watch it, because it is kind of, I don't want to say historical, but it is kind of historical. It was Meg Ryan and Tom Hanks's first movie together. They went on to do 2 more romantic comedies that are pretty much standards. They have incredible chemistry. There are a lot of really great actors in this. I didn't get it. Like, it didn't hit for me. I wouldn't say it was bad, but for me, it wasn't good. I did not like it. And I mean, am I ever going to watch it again? Nope. However, I mean, if this is something that, if you like quirky, you like weird, and you like something that feels kind of random, but still is part of a continuous story, this might be the movie for you. So yeah, stream it only if it's for free. But I now own it for $4.99.
Yeah.
Thank you, Prime.
All right, my score. I will be honest. I did not have high hopes for this movie. My memory of this movie was foggy at best. I only really liked the island part when I was a kid. A few years later, caught it on TV and thought it was a bit better as a whole. Now, knowing that this is a fairy tale, much like The Princess Bride, please don't go watch this thinking it's Princess Bride. You will be sorely disappointed. But like that movie, in the way that it's ridiculous on purpose, it's over dramatic on purpose, it looks ridiculous on purpose. Having worked so many jobs I hated, I appreciate it a little more. It's not my favorite movie by any stretch. Not when I went to go rent it like you, it was the exact same price to buy, so I bought it. I'm glad I did. I liked it. I didn't love it, but I enjoyed it enough that I wouldn't have been upset just renting it. And I probably will watch it again. Tomorrow? No. Next week? No. Next month? No. This year? Probably not. But down the road, I probably will watch it again.
At some point in the future,
yeah.
you will watch it again.
This is a movie about Joe, and Joe has these little stories with all these different characters. Those characters don't move on to the next story with him. Joe goes off on a new little adventure by himself until we get to Patricia. And the movie has all these well-placed Easter eggs, if you will, for the audience, like the books Joe wanted to read. They were all about the Odyssey and Robinson Crusoe. They were about this movie. His lamp, if you looked at it, told the whole story of the movie. It had the volcano, it had the yacht. There have been movies that I remember liking and were sure they were like I was sure they were forgotten gems, like Steel Dawn. I was wrong. This movie I remember kind of liking, but was sure this was going to suck balls. I was wrong. The story moves at a decent pace. The characters are all interesting and fun. The movie looks fantastic. Always, even when it's painted scenery or they're on a boat and it's a fake island, a volcano, it just fits in with the whole fairy tale look and vibe. The actors from Dan Hedaya, Lloyd Bridges, Nathan Lane, Robert Stack, Ava Go. I mean, if you want nostalgia, there are not a whole lot of female actors here because Meg Ryan hogged them all. My only gripe is Amanda Plummer, I think, was underused.
100%.
Yeah. But Tom Hanks and Meg Ryan were great. I say it's worth a rental, and I do in my head I do like out of 5, so that would be about a 3 out of 5. It's I would, if I rented it for $5, I would not have been mad. If I paid $20 to buy it, I might have been a little.
Yeah, well, I was like, do I rent it for $4.99 or do I buy it for $4.99? I'm like, I might as well
just
buy
on the
it.
off chance.
Just on the off chance that I actually like it and I want to watch it again. I remember being more into it when I watched it before. This time when I watched it, I was like, it wasn't sucking me in. It wasn't, and who knows? Maybe I'll revisit this in like a month or two, rewatch it, see if I was just in a mood when I watched it.
Yeah,
and
I've
that's
done
why.
that.
But I mean, I was like, it was fine. It wasn't. Here's the thing. This is a very smart movie.
Yep.
Very, very smart. There is a lot that is going, like, there are layers to this movie. I just wasn't engaged with it.
Yeah.
Like, it didn't engage me. And so I was like, am I going to want to watch it again? Nah, probably not. I'll probably watch it one more time just to confirm whether or not I still feel the same way about this movie. Because if I've learned anything from this podcast, it's that how you remember things and also how you feel the day you watch the movie.
Oh, yeah.
Says a lot.
I hated Grandma's Boy. I hated it. I hate it. And then I was in a mood. I was not in the mood to watch a comedy. It's such a stupid movie, but it's very funny. And when I watched it again a second time, I'm like, oh my God, this is great. And then I watched Harold Kumar Christmas, 3D Christmas. Loved it. And then a couple of years ago, I was in a great mood. I put it on to cheer me up, but I didn't find it funny.
Yeah,
really your mood does affect what you're watching. Yeah.
But when I watched it, like, there was nothing, because normally if I'm just, not feeling it, or if I'm, and I watch a movie, like, I can still get into it and be like, okay, great. But if I'm not in the mood for it, normally I just turn it off. But this movie, it didn't grab me.
Yeah.
That's all. Like, it's a very smart movie. The work has been put into it. Just didn't engage me. And I feel kind of bad about that, because I'm like, I feel like Tom Hanks and Meg Ryan, for their first foray together in the films, I feel like I should have more appreciation, but I do not. So if I rewatch it and find it any better, I'll let you know.
And it just might be just one that you just don't like.
Maybe it's just one that I'm just like, it's not for
I did
me.
get excited. I'm like, oh, right, she hated it.
No, I didn't. That's the thing, though. I'm like, I see the work you put in, and I'm sure this works for a lot of other people. It's not working for me.
And yeah, this movie is not for everyone. This is very, very specific. Yeah, I can see why it didn't make $100 million. I can see why there are a lot of people there are some people that loved it and some people that they're like, eh. And some people that just hated it. I get it. This is not a mainstream, everybody's going to like it type of movie. Not at all.
No. And that makes me a little sad, because I'm also one of those people who was like, meh, I could take it or leave it.
Yeah.
I'm not thrilled about it.
All right. So remember to like and subscribe below. And if you're listening or watching on YouTube, tell us below what you thought of the movie. Follow us on Facebook at I Remember Liking That Movie Podcast, or on X at Good Bad. I don't know. Actually, hold on. I have them. Do I have them?
I don't know. Do you have what?
Sure do.
Yeah, you do. Good, bad. I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah, you can follow us either you can follow us at either one of those, or and message us. You can tell us how much you like us or hate us. Dick pics, sure, I'll make sure Anna gets them. Maybe I'll keep them for myself.
We all know that's what's gonna happen. Don't be lying. I'm never gonna see a dick pic, no matter how many are sent in.
No, they're all
Jimmy's
mine.
gonna hold on to them like a little bouquet of roses. They're just for him.
I'll use them on X. Anything else you want? Anything else about Joe versus Volcano?
No. I was thoroughly underwhelmed by it. Thoroughly underwhelmed.
And I was pleasantly surprised. So there you go.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for joining us for Joe versus the Volcano. And until the next movie we remember liking.